Let's do some mobility and get the spine mobilized to start off with. Everybody knows this one by now if you've been following these workshops. Feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in our knees. Working from the center point here, so just moving from your hips, nice and strong through the lower body, and then upper body, light, lifted, standing tall, standing proud. Just getting some mobilization through the spine, through the hips, through the spine. It's always good as a warm-up to start off with getting the spine mobilized, because that's what will help get the rib cage moving. And once the rib cage is moving and working, then you're going to be able to breathe easier. So creating space for the breath. Because if we're not breathing efficiently, or if we're not breathing optimally, we're not going to move as well as we should be able to. So breathing is the starting point of efficient movement. Breathing is the first thing that brings energy, brings oxygen into the body. As we're doing this, we're just allowing the breath to be natural, in and out through the nose. Benefits of just breathing in and out through the nose is it will filter air, so it's going to make sure that you're not pulling in any viruses or bacteria. It's just helping to filter the air, warm the air. Naturally slows the breath down. And it also helps with increased oxygen uptake and maintaining moisture. We're tapping on the front, just letting the elbows bend, tapping on the front of the body and the back of the body. And let's have a little extra look behind. So just looking over the shoulder gives us that little bit of extra rotation, particularly through the upper back, making sure you keep the shoulders relaxed, lifting through the crown. So we're not straining the neck. Make sure there's no strain. Just glancing behind, led by the visual, led by the eyes. Just having a little look, see what's behind you. And you may find it's easier one side than the other. Or maybe it feels pretty balanced. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, upper back relaxed. Slow it down, slow it down. Now slow it into water waves. So you feel that little bit of resistance now in the air in front of you and behind you. We spiral the wrists. So it's almost like you're pushing air in front of you. Or if you think of it, if you imagine that you're in water, so you're pushing water in front of you and behind you. Nice and smooth and slow. Go so slow that you can feel the air through the fingers. Strong and stable through the lower body, connected to the ground. And then just feel that lightness in the upper body. Strong through the hips. And slow it down. We'll continue today working on the preparation for walking and running, as we have done over the past couple of weeks. But as I've said at the other sessions, it's preparation for movement, preparation for any exercise. But these are just sort of like some of the practices I use before I go out for a run, before I go out for a walk. And I find you can really then, when you are out moving in this rotational, spiraling movement, which we do when we're walking, you can have in mind some of the practices that we've done today. Bending the knees a little bit more. Let's do our spinal cord breathing. So we breathe in. Now really focus on lifting the collarbone and looking up rather than just bending the neck back. So think of the front, really focus on the front of the spine there, bringing the elbows back behind the body as you breathe in through the nose. And then curling the tailbone under, curling up into a little ball. You're breathing out. Keeping the knees bent so you can get the pelvis moving. Breathing in. Breathing out. Go at your own comfortable pace with this. Breathing in. Breathing out. And keep the breath quiet. It's just normal breathing, but you're just extending, you're just breathing in and you're breathing out. So we're just going, maybe slowing the breath to what you would do naturally, but it should be comfortable breathing. You shouldn't feel as if you're running out of breath. And it should be silent. I've mentioned before, quite often when you're listening to breath work, then the instructors will guide breathing with noise. So you'll be thinking, oh, I need to breathe in and pull the air in. Now, maybe once in a while that's not too bad, but we don't want to get into a habit of pulling air in or drawing air too strongly into the body. So just let that breath be natural. And this is great for really mobilizing the spine, getting the blood flow, getting the energy flowing, getting the lymphatic drainage going through the body, massaging the organs. Let's do a couple more. And then take your time just to come back to standing. When we are stepping and walking, running, moving forwards, rotating, stepping to the side, there is going to be that very subtle spine wave. Now, obviously, we're not walking like this, but there is that subtle spine wave. There's that subtle spine wave as we breathe in, the spine extends. As we breathe out, the spine softens. If the spine is rigid, then you get that very rigid, heavy sound. So you want to create that flexibility. And if you think of kids and younger people who have that natural flexibility, you see the softness in their movement, the flow in the movement. That's where the flow comes from that flexibility. Let's go in the other direction now with the spine. So feet about shoulder width apart as always. Start off with just shifting. So it's almost like you're pushing the ground away one side to the other. This one, we're not dropping the hips side to side. Watch that we're not doing this. You're just shifting, 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 and then let the spine follow. So focus on the lower back first and just think of that ripple that lateral, what is called lateral flexion, if I can say it, of the lower back. And then work your way up so that it follows through to the mid-back. And then coming up to the upper back. And then the cervical spine, let the neck just gently go. This one really shows up maybe where you are a little bit tight down one side of the spine or the other side of the spine. And particularly, I've said this before, but really in my neck, I remember the first time I did this, my head was going to one side and it wouldn't go to the other side. So just relax into it, soften and relax into it. Strong through the lower body. So this is a really good leg strengthener. And then light and lifted through the upper body. And then slow it down. Bringing the feet to about hip width. It's always good just to balance in between, just to see how the body feels, where you can be connected to the ground, balanced and connected to the ground. And then lifted and tall and light through the upper body. Good, let's move on to the hips. So a little bit wider on the feet. Straighten the legs. It's quite nice often to put the fingers in the crease of the hips there. And we take the hips to the side, back, keeping the legs straight as you go back here because it gives you that nice stretch through the hamstrings and maybe then through the calf muscles as well. To the opposite side, if I'm mirroring you, you're going to the left there. Just a gentle, almost like a little back bend here. As you do that little back bend and bring the hips forwards, remember to lift the sternum a little bit so that you're not just crushing is the wrong word maybe to use there. Don't want you to crush your lower back, but you're not just compressing your lower back. If you lift a little bit and bring those hips forwards, gives you a nice stretch through this front line of the body. And then side, back. Big hip circles. Often getting tight in the hips through too much sitting, too much standing. Lifting the sternum. When we're doing back bends, we often think of just lower back, but actually if you think of the back bend coming from lifting here, it actually bends or extends that upper back, the thoracic spine, which often gets tight. Let's go in the other direction. Nice and slow. There's a lot of strength in slow movement, but also if you're going slow, it means you can really tune into the body, so you can listen to your body. We talk about body sensing and listening to the body. What does it actually mean? I'm just checking in, noticing where I might feel blocked or I might feel tightness and tension. And you can maybe very subtly change your position if you just use a little bit more forwards or a little bit more sideways, or if you shift the weight back a little bit more. Let's do one more. Come up to standing. Let's do the wide hips. This is a really good one for really getting into the groin, getting into the adductor muscles here, these muscles in the thighs. So go as wide as you can comfortably. Remember, with any of these exercises or any of the stretches, always be guided by the breath. If you start to hold the breath or create excess tension, then you're most probably pushing a little bit too far. So it's not about overreaching or overstretching. So feet as wide as you can and as turned out as you can to give you that nice stretch through the adductor muscles. Now with that turn out, make sure that the knee is angled or is above the foot. So if the knee's turned in here, then you could have the foot really turned out, but your knee's turned in. That's not good because you're then twisting the hip. So you want the turnout where your knee is going over in line with the toe there. So if it's too much too wide, then just bring the feet in a little bit. So the key is to get that knee in line with the toe. Get low if you can get low, but not too low again that it's painful. And we're not going into a squat position as such. So it's almost like you're sitting on a horse. So you're really working the area here. And then you're going to do sacrum circles. So you imagine your tailbone, you're tucking under. And if you imagine you had a little string on that tailbone, you're just drawing circles on the floor with that string. So you're circling really deep inside the hips. And this is great. Really good for getting the hips mobile. You can almost feel when you've done these, particularly these two and the leg swing that we do, when you go out, you can feel, or hopefully you can feel, if you go out after doing this, you can feel that sort of like more of a flow. It's not as heavy, it's not as blocked. And then let's go in the other direction. Someone's moving around there on Zoom. Hope you're all right. Somebody's got cramp. Maureen's got cramp. Sorry. And then stop there. And a great way to get out of this stance, but it's also really good on the hips, is to straighten the legs. So don't rush out of it. Rotate on the ankles, bringing the toes in. Keep the knees a little bit bent there. So you're internally rotating the hips, and then you a little bit more weight on the toes, and then you bring the heels in, so you're externally rotating the hips, and then you come back to balance. And then you shake your legs out. And then let's do our leg swing. So it's like the puppet. So you're lifting the leg, you swing it across, drop it down, opposite side. This free leg just swings. Stabilize on that support leg. Swing the free leg. Stabilize. Stabilize. Again, this is working on internal rotation, external rotation, drop. Internal rotation, external rotation. All of these are really exaggerated movements and rotations and spirals of what we do when we step forwards. Couple more. And then let's do a good shake out. So shaking, tapping the heels into the ground. Letting the shoulders go. Relaxing the back. Relaxing the neck. You can bring your arms into it a little bit more if you want to. Particularly shoulders and neck on this shaking one, sometimes you might feel you need to let go of a little bit more. And as I say, it might be different every time you do it. Sometimes you might want to just do a light shake, so keeping the heels on the ground. Sometimes you might feel happier doing a more vigorous shake. Sometimes you might just want to be comfortably breathing in and out through the nose. Other times you may feel you want to release a bit of tightness and tension through a release breath. So you can breathe in through the nose and and then slow it down. Slow it down. Step your feet together, just balance, feel, enjoy that tingling sensation through the body. It's your blood flowing, your energy moving. Letting the breath settle. Step your feet out. We haven't done any tiger squats for a while, so I'm going to put in a few tiger squats here before we go into our take a step, just to help a little bit with the hips. Seeing as we've done a little bit more work on the hips there, it'd be quite nice to do some of our tiger squats. Remember, really strong through the hands here, so it's almost like clawing. The reason why we do that is because it brings into sort of like connection in the back muscles as well. If you're just here, the back can be all over the place. Here you engage the back muscles, get your feet to a comfortable width, and you're just dropping your pelvis down towards the ground. Just a comfortable depth, and then softening, coming back up. Shoulders down, bringing the arms up, standing tall, so you're lengthening up here. And then again, engage the fingers, use the fingers. Dropping down. Be guided by the breath. So slow movements, smooth movements. It's not about forcing or pushing. It's not how deep can I get. Push through the heels. Use the floor as you come up, so you're pushing through the heels. Engage the fingers, claw. And then soften the arms, soften the elbows as you come up. Stand tall. And go for your own comfortable pace. Also do your own comfortable amount. So if you start to notice the breath changing, if you start to get out of breath, start to hold the breath, then just stop or do less. Just go to this position, even if you just go down to there. So you can go, anybody can do this at whatever range of motion you've got. You can come down to here, you can put the weight a little bit more through the heels. Stand tall. Couple more. And take a rest when you're ready. Shake the legs out if you need to shake the legs out. You've really worked the lower body. Now we'll do like a pouncing tiger. So we step out to about 30, 45 degrees. I will mirror you. So we'll step out to the left. You've got the majority of weight now on your left leg. This right leg is just balancing. And we just come down over that left leg. And then step back up. Safely step back. Don't throw yourself back. And then we step out with the right. Shift the weight to the right. Come down. Again, you might just get to here. That's fine. But you want the majority of weight over this front leg. So it's really strengthening that right side of the body. Come back up. Step back. Go with that flow movement. Step. Step back up. Step. Let's do one more each side. Step. Step. and then take a rest. With that one again, remember that step. So when you're stepping forwards, if I'm stepping forwards now, this is my left leg. If I'm stepping forwards with my left leg, I always have to support on the right side first. So I'm not stepping forwards and throwing myself forwards. I'm using this standing leg to step forwards. Then the weight shifts onto that front leg. So this leg is pretty free. It's just using as a stabilization. Then I'm really using this, I'll swap round so you can see the hip. I'm really using this hip here. So I'm almost like doing a single leg squat. So I'm using that hip, dropping down, my knees gliding in line with the toe. And then I'm using this hip to stand up. And as I'm stepping back, I'm just stabilizing, shifting my weight back. So have in mind those balances. It's all a balance practice. We'll now do, how are we doing time-wise? Oh God, that's gone quick. We won't do, let's just do, we have got time. Let's do this one. So we step now this one, lifting up, extending and rotating, and then step back. So it's a similar thing, standing leg, support on your standing leg, step forwards, shift the weight onto that front leg. As you're bringing your fist up, you're extending the spine, lifting the sternum and rotating and looking behind. Step back, step forwards. Step back. The key to this is extending and rotating. So make sure the spine extends, 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 and rotates. So you'll feel maybe a nice stretch through the front of the body. The spine is almost like following the light fists. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Watch that you're not using the shoulders to lift up. So shoulders stay down. Use the spine and the back muscles to extend. As he falls over. It's all good balance. And then take a rest. And then just to conclude, let's pull down the sky, elbows bend, shoulders relax, hands crossed, resting on your lower abdomen, just bringing your feet together, just taking a moment just to tune in with the body, just appreciate and feel the movement that you've done for yourselves this morning, the movement and the breath, bringing that energy, bringing that fluidity, bringing that strength into your body to set you up for the rest of the day. Brilliant. Thank you so much, as always, for joining. Just a couple of things. I know it's 8:30, but just to let you know, there's a few things coming up. Obviously, this weekend I've got Glasgow, or north of Glasgow, Loch Long. And there are some places left on that. So if anybody just thinks, yeah, I'm going to go up there and have a fantastic weekend. There's about 10 of us going up there. So it'll be a nice retreat. We'll be doing lock dips, nature walks, tent saunas. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next weekend, so the 20th, an hour's workshop, Unlock the Power of Breath. That's free if you're premium members of the Breathe, Balance, Move group, or £29 if you just want to do that one-off workshop. That is now going to be coming back to a regular monthly workshop where we'll be focusing predominantly on breath work and predominantly on using Qigong and Oxygen Advantage, combining those two practices, very much like we're doing on a Tuesday morning, very much like we're doing today as well. So that's next Saturday. Next Saturday, also at midday, no, I've got that the wrong way around. Midday is the Unlock the Power of the Breath. 10 o'clock in the morning, Run with Ease. So it's a 3-week program online. Plus, the exciting thing with this now is you get a 1-day workshop if you want to do a one-day workshop in person in London. And those workshops are the 11th of December and the 15th of January. But I'll pop all of that information below these videos, and I'll also, if you're on the mailing list, the mailing will come out just giving you all of that information too. But if you've got any questions, do email me, do come back to me. But thank you again for your time and attention. Watch out for the Scotland photos over the weekend, and I'll see you all. If I don't see you at the weekend, I'll see you all next Tuesday. Thanks for joining. Have fun. Thank you, we will do. Hope the weather's good.